Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict, and we're going to talk about the barren and the marine targets today. Starting the week off right, apparently, because these targets haven't been really well liked by anyone. And for very good reasons. The balancing of these targets has been so far off point in my eyes that, well, as I'm going to crack a joke later with the barren target, there was no balance involved in my eyes with them. It was just a matter of setting the targets up, giving them fairly high durability that the players don't really see ever on our ships, and then saying, okay, well, you have to fight them in sets. Well, here's the problem with that. Each of the sets matches the player's number, except for they're more durable. I don't know about the DPS, because, I only used my Leviathan because I just didn't want to bring anything else in. And I just have to say this about the targets. They have been a disappointment so far because I don't see Wendigos being able to farm any of these at all because, they're not all that quick. Honestly, they're not that fast. And the fact that they don't get a strafe speed bonus and a rotation bonus or anything like that from their overdrive of entering an enemy's firing arc, it means that the Orion can slip right up behind them just because of how they're set up. And that's one issue that I see with them right away, and I hadn't even thought about to begin with, was that the fact that the Orion would be able to theoretically just slip right by them after their overdrive's active. And they wouldn't be able to kill them because the only thing you'd be able to hit them with is the Paroxysm Cannon and the Dyad Beam, but the issue is, well, you're going to see what the marine target's like, and you're going to instantly hate it for anyone who hasn't hit it yet. And I recommend that you do hate it, because that type of target is unacceptable. Most of these targets are unacceptable. The fact that they launched into the game as they are, it's a complete disappointment, and it seems like a waste of time to even bother talking about it, when I could probably bring up some stupid funny moments video like, you know what, I'm going to do that. Tomorrow I'm going to do a video for VEGA. It's just going to be stupid random moments, because I actually have had quite a few as of recently. And they're not that hard to recreate. But for now, the targets, they're a disappointment. The vessels within them, their fighters, they're so much more durable than ours. Because, I've got one elite Orion, and I gotta tell you, they can't take a hit. Especially in a fight where they should be situationally superior, they can't take a hit. And the fact that these Orions, they take a barrage from the Blight Paroxysm, and they just keep going, and going, and going. However, that should change once I get the Horde Cannon set up on my ship, but for now, this is what we have. And the targets, when it comes to interesting targets, you should always think of how the player should approach them and how they should fight them. And you should always, always consider what target you want them to be hitting it with. What ship do you want the player to be using against it? Build the fleet up around the player's ship with a fitting in mind, and if you released a ship with tech, expect the people to use the ship with tech, so keep that in mind when you're making the target. And all these fights there for under 10 minutes, with the exception of the marine target. Now, this is where it gets stupid. This is the Marine 106 that drops the Dyad Beam. The amount of damage that is output by this base target, by all intents and purposes, it is a base target in my eyes because it's got insane range and fairly high damage, and I take 1% damage per Sovereign destroyed, and as you could see, the Orions in this target are so much more squishy than in the barren targets for some reason. But the Sovereign just hits extremely hard. Except for it's squishy as well. So they hit extremely hard, but they have fairly average health. But the issue is, I'm using a Dreadnought to do all this. So I don't know if a Wendigo fleet is even capable of it, but based on what I've been shown and told, they're not. They fail horribly against them. The targets are off balance. very, very off balance. I'd recommend the development team actually scrap these targets and make new ones, because this is just unacceptable. But that's going to be it. I've done what I want to, complained about it. Be safe out there, my pack. Happy hunting, and I'll see you tomorrow.